So this will be my review for the 5th episode of Moon Knight, and because it's on Disney Plus, you can watch it whenever. I will not hold back any spoilers, so this is a spoiler warning for the 5th episode of Moon Knight, and if you enjoyed this video today, feel free to like and subscribe for future Marvel content. So, unsurprisingly, this was easily the best episode by far, in my opinion. Episode 4 was pretty good, but this is just making it even better. They established that there are multiple different afterlives in the MCU, and they actually reference the ancestral plane, which is the Wakandan afterlife that we've seen in Black Panther and stuff. We find out that they're actually in the Egyptian underworld, and that Stephen and Mark have to balance their scales of justice in order to get into the Egyptian heaven, basically, which makes them relive Mark's memories. And I think this was a fantastic way, in my opinion, to go about giving an actual origin story to not only Mark Spector becoming Moon Knight, but to also establish his childhood backstory and how he came to develop the dissociative identity disorder. And then we find out that Mark took his brother to a cave when they were kids, and his brother drowned due to water rising in the cave, which makes his mom basically hate him and abuse him, which then in turn leads to the creation of the Stephen Grant persona and his DID. So this episode in general was extremely powerful in like a traumatic sense, where we get to see a side of the MCU I feel like we haven't seen too much of, honestly, since the Netflix series. You know, we really see the dark things like abuse from his mom, to Mark only almost shooting himself to end his life before Khonshu saved him to become Moon Knight. And I just thought this like entire sequence was like really powerful, and it didn't feel like, I don't know, not that the MCU by far is not like all happy and joy, obviously, from like you can tell with Infinity War and stuff like that, but I just felt like this episode just felt like so real, and like it felt more down to earth and grounded in Mark's humanity in a sense, in my opinion. So we also get the inclusion of his Jewish backstory without referencing it directly, which I thought was a nice touch because they didn't need to spend extra time on it while showing that it is an important part in his history. And then we get to see Stephen get thrown overboard and freeze in the sands of the underworld, which then allows the scales to be balanced, which then automatically ends the episode with Mark being brought into the Egyptian heaven. So, I mean, overall, I think this episode was truly fantastic. I think it's one of the best episodes of an MCU Disney Plus show we have gotten so far, honestly. However, I'm not going to lie, I'm slightly worried for the next episode. Since this is only a 6-episode series, that means we only have 1 episode to go, and I really hope the finale of this series doesn't turn out like WandaVision, where I thought the WandaVision finale was good still, I really did, but it felt rushed to finish the story. Like, it's like WandaVision up to episode 6 was like really, really good, and then it just started kind of to dwindle a little bit, and then the finale, it was still good, but like I said, it just felt rushed in the end. Like they had too many things to talk about and close. And we also still didn't get any sort of introduction to the third personality yet, which is presumably Jake Lockley. And with 1 episode left, I'm kind of partial to think that they won't introduce that personality at all. Because in my head, if we do get to meet him in the last episode, I feel like it will cause the episode to feel rushed, because that's a big thing to talk about and cover and wait to talk about until the final episode. So I honestly don't know if they're going to even do that anymore. It feels maybe like a season 2 thing. This show in general kind of feels like it'll get a second season. I'm not getting that anywhere, so don't quote me on that. But, you know, it just feels like they're not going to be done with this 1 season. I know Oscar Isaac said that like he doesn't have any commitments to Marvel after this series. Obviously, it doesn't mean he'll never come back as Moon Knight. He just didn't like sign a multiple thing contract like most MCU actors do. However, I definitely think he'll be back, obviously. Even if it's not for a second season, he'll definitely be back, because Moon Knight's going to be way more popular now after this series, I can already see. But overall, I'm very excited to see where this series goes with the finale, and I currently only think Loki is better than this series now, and not by much, and that's honestly just like a personal thing really, because story-wise, I think Moon Knight honestly might be a little bit better, but I'm a little biased in a sense when it comes to MCU stuff, because when MCU stuff, things and movies, TV shows, whatever, when they have big implications that could change like the rest of the universe, I enjoy those movies more and shows more than the properties that don't. Doesn't mean I still don't enjoy the other properties, but that's just me. But yeah, so I gave this episode probably like a 9 out of 10. Like, I think it's really good, and this entire series is really good, so I really hope they don't fumble it with the finale. So if you enjoyed this video today, feel free to like and subscribe for future Marvel content. I appreciate you for watching the video.